Welcome back to Houston Life. About an hour south of downtown San Leon, one woman's passion project to restore an oyster reef destroyed during Hurricane Ike is making history. But it's also raising awareness of a devastating children's disease and bringing people together with good food and good music.
Joining us now are Lisa Halili, co-owner of Prestige Oyster Company, Laura Picarello with Texas Sea Grant, which is an organization committed to protecting Texas waterways, and singer-songwriter Colton Black. Welcome to all three of you. And this hits home, Colton, for you. You lost your sister, Courtney, to Rett's syndrome, correct?
Correct.
And we're going to ask you about that. And I think it's a beautiful harmony. It's a beautiful relationship here. Let's talk about the reef and how this all started. Lisa, so this is an oyster reef right off our coast in San Leon.
That is correct.
And where did your passion for this reef come from?
I actually founded the San Leon Oyster Fest back in 2016. So as you have a festival, you have discarded shells left over. So it was always my vision that I wanted the shells to make a difference. And so I reached out to my boss at the state. I said, hey, do you know a reef that needs love and attention? And they said, I think it's a great idea. And so eventually I was able to locate a reef that was destroyed by Ike. And that was the reef I was looking to help replenish and bring back to life. And then when I had met Colton's dad, Kevin, we were always talking about Rett syndrome. And I said, Kevin, I got a way. I know how I can help you. And he's like, how are you gonna help me restoring an oyster reef? I said, I'm gonna name it Rett Reef.
Wow.
And it's going to bear the name for Rett syndrome.
Wow.
To bring awareness to the world.
Well, that's amazing. And it's amazing to bring the awareness, but you also, I mean, in a project like this, you need an expert, right? You need an expert to help. And that's, Laura, that's kind of where you come in. Aquaculture, you're a partner in this project. What is the process of saying, okay, it's one thing to want to restore a reef, and then it's one thing to actually do it. Why is this one making history, and what's the process?
Well, I think what's special about this one is the involvement directly of the oyster industry taking the lead on this and, you know, contributing back to a healthy bay and a healthy ecosystem. So, you know, a lot of times restoration occurs with, you know, nonprofits and scientists and folks that aren't necessarily on the water all the time. And so this is unique because we're really utilizing the knowledge of oyster watermen that are out there every day that understand that environment, and that they're giving back by creating this non-harvestable reef area to help, you know, replenish the bay. And so it's a lot like farming, just in the water. You know, as Lisa referred to, the shells, the recycled shells, when we eat oysters, the shell is left over. And that shell is really valuable for creating new reef, and that's what baby oysters like to attach to. And so what we're doing is taking all of that recycled shell from the festivals, from the restaurant, and putting that back in the water and planting that so that nature can take its course and those babies can then replenish and grow on that reef and rebuild that habitat.
Wow. What an incredible process. Colton, so you and your dad perform, your dad Kevin.
Correct.
And your dad's brother is Clint Black, so your uncle is Clint Black. So performing, I know, is in your blood. Let's talk about your sister, Courtney, because Rett syndrome is just a devastating neurological disease, primarily affecting younger women. Here is a very adorable photo of her on the screen. I can't even imagine how this affected your family. Can you tell us a little bit about your sister?
Yeah, I mean, you know, in the early 90s and before when she was diagnosed, it was even less known than it is today. So it was a real learning curve, and it really, you know, about 16 months, it really devastates the child, and they start to regress and lose all their speaking ability, and anything they kind of learned along the way starts to regress, and they live the rest of their life as an infant, and therefore the rest of the family, you know, is responsible and taking care of that child as an infant for the rest of their life. And unfortunately, Courtney's ended at 16 years old, and my dad and Dave Clements found another way to honor and kind of let the memory grow and live, and that was this book right here, Raising a Hand. It's a bunch of pictures of famous artists that decided to get behind our cause and raise awareness for Rett syndrome. because it's, like I said, it's a really rare disease, and not too many people know about it unless you're affected directly.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've been doing, is playing all over the place and trying to just bring, you know, awareness to it, and hopefully find a cure. And we're closer than ever now. So.
Right. And it is such a, it's devastating, but the pictures from the book, they're breathtaking. You saw George Strait, you saw Clint Black up there, and it's a beautiful book. And what you guys are all trying to do is also really, really beautiful. And there is a kickoff event really tomorrow. So you want to tell us about that?
Yes. So at Pier 6 Seafood, and they are partners with the Rett Reef project. They have given all of their oyster shells since they opened in 2020. There's this huge piles, 302 tons of oyster shells that are donating to the reef. So the event will start for the public to watch us bless the reef. His daddy, along with some other family members, are going to have a biodegradable reef of a picture of his sister, and we're going to go out to the reef, and we're going to take some shells that have been blessed, and they're going to lay the reef of Courtney, and then we're going to lay the first shells down.
Wow.
And the reason why this is probably the first time this will ever see again, because you got to understand, this reef is a non-harvestable reef. You can't, it's never had a dredge. The first time it ever had a dredge is when we went and explored it on October 2nd. And this reef is something that we're going to bring back new life, because oysters are a keystone species to the bay. Everything you need to have a healthy bay, you've got to have an oyster. And Rett syndrome, being that the name is R-E-T-T, a lot of people are going to ask questions about that. And when you do, I thought it would be the most fabulous thing to take a rare brain disorder and compare it, you know, pair the two together.
Absolutely.
It is beautiful, beautiful. Well, listen, Colton, we got to let you perform.
Yes.
We're so glad y'all are here. Lisa, Laura, Colton, thank you so much. And while Colton gets ready to perform, we do want to give you more info on tomorrow night's event, where you can dine and make a difference. As Lisa just mentioned, it's all happening tomorrow at Pier 6 in San Leon.
And on our website, HoustonLife.tv, we have that link. So where you can buy tickets, you can get all the information you need on the event. Such a beautiful festival, such a beautiful event happening. And now here is Colton Black with his song, Any Angel Can Fall.
Six strings, and everyone is tugging on you. I keep writing these songs and hoping one just might do. But time after time, they don't get through. And here's how I felt, and you never knew. 'Cause I felt betrayed by the thoughts in my mind. I was always in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's not to say that it's not my fault, 'cause if I have learned anything, it's any angel can fall. Six strings, rusted, broken, and used. Right written all that I knew.